so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty.
Hello, 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 and welcome to So What Wednesdays. This is your girl, Coach Ella Destiny, aka your host, and I am super excited. We are back, y'all. We had to take a little break because y'all know we be having to take some mental breaks. We need to take some time to ourselves just to take a little vacay and all that stuff. But we are back, and tonight I'm super excited about the guest that we have. I have been watching this young lady for years and years and years and years. I've been watching her journey. I've been watching her transition. I have been watching her blossom into who she is today. And she's about to tell y'all who she is. She's a boss. She is a CEO. She's all of those things. She's an author. She's a songwriter. She's a singer. She's all of those things. But more importantly, she is my girl. And I'm super excited to bring her to the stage, y'all. Please, please welcome my girl, Meko, the boss. Yes.
Hey, what's going on? Hi.
I am super excited. I'm so glad that you are here today. Listen, when I reached out to you, I have been thinking about I always my whole point and purpose is always to give people so what's in different situations and different things going on in their lives, right? And we all go through something. Like every single day there is something, and there's somebody I know. It may be something I'm thinking about. It might not necessarily be me, but it could be a family member, it could be a friend or something that somebody is going through, and I just be like, dang, I remember Meko's story. Dang, I remember this person's story. Let me grab her real fast. And so thank you so much for your yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for your obedience. Thank you for, wanting to share and tell your story. So many people, are going through things and growing through things, and they don't want to tell it. They're afraid to tell it. They want to keep it to themselves. Right. But the great part about us is that because we know there's purpose for our pain, and we know that we're commissioned to help other people, we don't mind sharing our story. So thank you so much. Tell us, who is Meko, the boss?
Oh, wow. So many hats. But I finally think I've narrowed it down to my top three. Meko is a singer. I've been singing since I was 7 years old at my father's church. My father is a pastor. Shout out to my dad. But my father's a pastor. I grew up singing in the church. So I'm a singer, number one. I'm a writer, and writing includes songwriting. I've been writing songs since probably I was 10 years old. But I'm a songwriter, a writer, period. I'm an author. I've published one book. I have a new book that's coming out soon, which I'm excited about. And also I am a chef. I always love to cook. I've done catering for years and years and years, but over the past 2 years, I've decided this is what I want to do. Music, writing, and food. That's who I am now. So I'm the boss of those three things.
And there you go. There you go. But before you were the boss of those three things, you went through some stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about this briefly because you have not one, not two, but you wrote 3 books. And we're going to get into it, right? So, tell me a little bit about your journey and what brought you to narrow down who you are to those 3 things, because you are, a mom, you were a wife, you're a friend, you're all of those things, right? Yeah. But who were you before you came to this point? And I'm asking that because the first book that you wrote, I believe it's Love is Pain. Love is Not Pain.
Yes.
What's that about?
Oh my God. So Love is Not Pain. It is a journey. I really talk about my life growing up as a preacher's daughter, growing up, that was tough because, at church, my father, he was like this high. I mean, he is a great preacher. Like I learned from the best. And I honestly, to be honest with you, I thought I was going to be a preacher. I thought, or at least like I thought I was going to be in the church forever, like first lady, I thought I was going to be. And so my father, he instilled a lot of great things in me, put God in me, to put God first. So first and foremost, shout out to my dad. But the book is
Shout out to them.
about growing up as a preacher's kid, becoming in infatuated with being a star, because you could not tell me back then I was not gonna be the next Mary J. Mariah Carey. Like
Right.
I was ready. Like I was so
Mhm.
green, going in studios, writing for people, singing, just doing whatever I could to get the
Mhm.
attention of, celebrities, or get my chance. And I did have my chance. I had my 15 minutes of fame. If you
We're
go
gonna talk about that
listen,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a
Mhm.
video that aired on BET. I think it aired on MTV a couple times, but BET.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it was, the song was featured on a movie soundtrack. I had shot the video in LA. Thought that was my big break. I had
Mhm.
put all these songs gearing up to do my debut album, and that it just didn't work out. They called me and said that the owner of the label took the money and ran. So I just
Mm.
became extremely depressed because I had worked
Super
consistently.
hard.
I mean, I was
Mhm.
everywhere. I worked for 5 years consecutively, thinking, this is my chance. This is it.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
got my video on BT. I got all my friends and family. They all
I
like,
used to
yes,
put.
it.
Mhm.
And they called and said, what happened. So I fell into a deep depression after that. I'm not gonna lie. I
Mm.
spiraled
Mhm.
out of control. And in that book, I detail about, getting addicted to pain medication,
Mhm.
uh, going back to the hood and dancing, becoming a stripper,
Mhm.
madam,
Mhm.
drug dealer,
Mhm.
pimp. And for 7 years, I was just on a really, really dark path. But, God sends angels, and he
I'm
sent
telling
my
you.
sister, who came, and she's like, you know what? We gotta get you back on track.
Shout out to sis. Shout out to sis. And
Shout
I
out
think
to
that's so
this.
important. I appreciate your transparency because, a lot of times people see us and
Yes,
they just see this. They don't
yes,
understand what we are going through on the
right,
inside. And,
right.
the title of your book is so important. Love is not pain, because we think that we love ourselves. I love myself so much
Yes,
that I'm going to go out here. I got to get this money. I'm going to go out here and do what I got to do, thinking we're loving
exactly.
ourselves, or, because we love the people around us. We got to go make it happen for the people around us
Right.
because we think that that's love, when
Yes.
really we are hurting ourselves
Oh,
mentally,
yes.
physically, and spiritually.
Yes.
So when you were going through those times, what were some of the so what moments? Like, so what, this didn't happen for me, my career didn't happen or whatever. So what? I'm just gonna go to this. What were some of those moments?
Man, coming out of that, like looking back now, it's like, wow, I really let, a few things
Mm-hmm.
deter me from my dream. Like I
Mm.
decided, after that, I'm not going to do music anymore. People in the
Wow.
music industry are terrible. And I'm like, the so what should have been, so what? I got rejected and the album got shelved. I'm going to pick myself up and keep going. Now
Mm-hmm.
it happened eventually, but it took too long. Like I
Mm-hmm.
really just wish I had somebody, even though my sister got me out of that space, I just
Mm-hmm.
wish there was another part that, someone was shook me hard. It was like, look,
Right.
okay, so what about that? Let's move forward, and but God has it happen at his own divine time. And so that's why I'm glad I'm sitting down with you now to say, even though I went through all of that, I'm finally at a place where now I do have the music coming out and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the team, I'm
Yes.
proud of the journey and just everything that I prayed for initially. Those prayers,
Mhm.
them old prayers I prayed are
I'm
finally
trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell
issuing.
you, them back in the day prayers, right? So I
Yes.
know you went through that. You have another book that's called Unbroken, but I want to, get into because I know a part of your story and a part of your journey is that you were in a relationship, a long relationship where you went through a lot of pain that you thought was love. Can you
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about that a little bit?
Definitely, it's sad to say, but all of my relationships, all of my, I've been married 3 times, divorced
Mhm,
3 times, and
mhm,
all 3 of those marriages were different, but they were all painful, and it all stemmed from me not knowing who I was, not knowing
mm,
my worth, not knowing, that I deserve better, I deserve more. So that pain that I went through, it was a lot to blame, the people that I chose.
Mhm.
However, a lot of it was on me, and I didn't want to get out of my own way. I didn't want to see myself happy. And that's crazy, right? I wanted to see
Mm.
other people in great relationships and happy and moving forward, but I couldn't see that for me. I couldn't see a
That is
man really loving me.
that is so profound because a lot of times, we are in situations or relationships and we forget about our happiness.
Yes.
We forget about who we are. We
Yes.
forget, what makes us happy. We forget our own favorite color, our
Okay.
favorite food, the type of clothes that we like, the things we like to do because we're so focused on making sure that the other person is happy,
Yes.
making sure that the other person,
Yes.
that they're not gonna come home and they want to fuss and argue and all of that
Right.
stuff. So we got to do all of the things that we need to do to make sure that they're happy and make sure that they're okay when
Yes.
all the while we're dying inside. Like we're
Oh
not
yeah.
okay. We're not
Yeah.
happy. What
Yeah.
does that look like for you?
Oh my God. It was so many dark days, so many days that I really just gave up, so many days that
Mhm.
I indulged in, drugs and alcohol to get through
Mhm.
the day. Even my children, like, they really needed me. And
Mm.
for a few years, I checked out. I checked out
Right.
as a mom, as a wife, I produced because I was so fixated on pleasing my husband because there were outside people looking in. So it's like I have to, hold
Mhm.
this up.
Mhm.
But as a mom, and even though these kids, these were my children.
Right.
He wasn't even the father, but
Mhm.
I turned my back on what they needed, and I
Mhm.
wasn't who I was supposed to be. So that was hard. That was
Mhm.
really, really hard.
And there are a lot of people because I want people to understand, or especially the ladies and men go through this,
Oh yeah,
the same. But I
yeah.
want people to understand, like, you can come out of it. There are
Oh yeah,
so many people that are holding on because, I feel sorry for this person.
right,
I care. What about them? What's going to
right,
happen to them? And it's just like they're adult enough to do the things that they do, so they need to be adult enough to deal with those situations and the consequences that come with it. And a lot
yeah,
of times we want to save people instead of saving ourselves.
right.
What do you say to that? What do you say to the person that wants to save the other person who are
Mm,
doing all of these things to us instead of saving yourself? What do you say to that person that wants to hold on? I feel sorry for this person. Like, where's this person going to go? Like, what are they going to do? Like, they need me. You know
right.
what I mean?
Yes. Well, it's three words, and anybody who has is in contact with someone who's going through something like this, there's only three words that you can say: you deserve better.
Hmm.
Those three words alone have saved. I've seen so many people in situations with in relationships that were drowning them, were toxic, and they couldn't see anything other than being with this person until I said, "You deserve better. You
Hmm.
don't deserve who you're with. That
Mhm.
person doesn't deserve you.
Deserve you.
You
Yeah.
deserve better. Do you
Mhm.
love yourself enough to get out of your own way?" That's
My
another question I
God.
pose. But those three words, you deserve better. When someone hears that, it like clicks. It's like, you know what? I do deserve better.
And
I do.
then right, and your children, because a lot
Yes.
of times we say, "Oh, I don't want my children to grow up without
Yes.
their mom or
Yes.
their dad or whatever."
Right.
But if you stay in a situation and either you take that person out or that person take you out, your
Right.
children are not going to have their parents anyway.
Exactly.
And that is so
Exactly.
important for people to understand. What
Yes.
do you say to people that are on the outside? Because it's so easy for us on the
Right.
outside to say, "Girl, you just need to go ahead and leave. You just need." How do we support the people that are in those type of situations? What do we say to them? What do we do? Like, what do you need at that time from your family,
Right.
your peers, your friends?
You know, the best thing that my sister did for me, even though she did some action later, but the best thing she did was pray for me. I mean,
Mm,
constantly praying for me. And it would be times I look at my phone and she's sending a prayer through my phone. I'm like, girl, whatever, but
mhm,
later on I look at it and I'm like, girl, thank you. I love you.
mhm,
Like, and it
mhm,
would be those times where I had even like friends of mine who've been friends of mine forever. It's like they would know. It was like it was a sense, like
Mm-hmm.
God would nudge them and say, "You need to check on your girl," and it would
Mm-hmm.
always come at the right time with a scripture or a
Mm-hmm.
prayer or just someone calling, "Hey, I'm just trying to check in, just making sure you're good." When somebody
Absolutely.
gives you when God gives you that nudge in your stomach, like you need to go check
Mm.
on Ellie, she needs some encouragement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what happened for me. It was
Mm-hmm.
always somebody just reaching out randomly, and it was always at the right time. And it
Mm-hmm.
sticks with me now because it's like, wow, God, you were looking out for me. You sent this angel to come and call or text or send me a scripture, and I needed that. So when you have someone that you know that's going through it, always tell them, I love you. Always tell them you praying if you need to talk,
Mm.
but also take some action. Pick the phone up, call, text.
Right. Right.
Anytime you feel that nudge, because you never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that you're staying in communication with somebody who's going through it because they really, really, they don't know how to tell you they need you, but they need you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely get that because I have seen, so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
in my years of people going through it. And it's
Right.
almost like you have to be careful what you say to people
Yes.
because that only draws them closer to that person. You
Right.
know what I mean? And it's just
Right.
like, they don't care about me. Although we do care, they're thinking we don't care about them. We're just speaking bad of this person. And so
Exactly.
the one thing that I learned is not to speak on that person at all. You get what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
Because it only makes it worse.
It does.
I'm going to support you. How
Hmm.
can I help you? How can I be there for you? I don't want to
Right.
speak on the other person because I know what you're going through. You know what you're going through. And
Exactly.
a lot of times they don't need to hear it. But I don't want to stay in that space too long because look at you now. You came out of that. So
Super
let's
blessed.
yes, let's get into how you came from being in that situation for so long. How did you start to find who Meko was again? How did you start to, start loving yourself again? And then how did your children receive the new you after you came out of that?
So it was a very long process. I am not gonna lie. I separated
Mhm.
from my ex husband in 2000, like right before the pandemic. So like
Mhm.
2019, early 2020, and so we separated. We decided to live in separate spaces, but we decided we were going to try our best to work through
Mhm.
what we were going through, and so we did everything with counseling. And it just got to a point where my personal therapist, not my marriage counselor, but it was a separate therapy that
Mhm.
I was doing. She told me, she said, you know what? She said, I feel like you are just holding on because it's so many years now. Because
That's
you
good.
feel like it's another divorce that you may have to go through, and I kept telling her, I'm not getting divorced, I'm not getting divorced. And she's
Wow.
like, I know you're adamant to not get divorced because you don't want anybody to think that you failed again.
Mhm.
And she's like, but it's okay, you're going to be fine. Your children are probably going to love you more for walking away from the situation that's not serving you anymore.
Wow.
And that was when I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And it was hard. I went back
Mhm.
so many times to the point where my kids were like, we would leave and they be happy. And then they like, well, it's not going to last long. We're going to be
Wow.
back there again. And I
Mhm.
hate the fact that I kept dragging them back and forth and back
Mhm.
and forth. But my
Mhm.
children, let me tell you something. They, when I finally ended the marriage and my divorce was finalized, and my divorce was finalized on 2/2/22. And
Wow.
when it was finalized and I got that paper in my hand, I was like, I never thought, number one, I never thought I'd get divorced.
Mhm.
And, I'm not celebrating divorce, but I'm celebrating the fact that I got away from a very toxic relationship. And I was just as toxic as this person was.
Right.
It was not good. And it definitely wasn't good for my children. But
Mhm.
I bought a house, my own house. I never
Yay!
house. Ella, let me tell you, God
Wow.
really, he showed up for me when I decided to close that door and I was scared and I'm like, how am I gonna make it? I don't have enough money. I don't have, and he just kept saying, I got you. I got you.
Come
And I
on.
got into this house. My children were so happy, and they are. They still just like, we're able to just, it was a point in time where we weren't even able to sit together and laugh. That was
Wow.
so
That's
for
deep.
us now to be able to be in our own space
That's
and
deep.
yell when we want to, laugh, run up and down the stairs, do cartwheels,
Mhm.
do whatever we want. It's like
That
that
is deep.
freedom, that to just be able to be
Mhm.
us and be happy. So my children, and they're flourishing now. Like,
Flourishing. I was gonna ask that.
yes,
Yeah.
they're
Mhm.
doing so good. Like I don't want to talk too much about because I'm gonna cry, but they have really, really they've turned around. Like, because at one point they all were struggling. They were all going through all types of emotional abuse
Mhm.
and psychological
Got you, girl.
abuse.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it was, to get them out of that. And I tell people all the time, I thank God for the pandemic because it really brought my relationships with my children back. I thought I lost my kids. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I didn't think that they loved me anymore. I didn't think they cared
Mhm.
about me. I had taken them through so much with that last relationship, but just
Mhm.
to see, after during the pandemic, just to see us get our
Mhm.
bond together again, I was like, I don't know about a lot of people, but for me, that pandemic really saved my relationships with my children, and it
Absolutely.
turned around things for us. So, and I'm just excited to for what God has done.
And it's so profound, something that you said when you said that
Yeah,
once you let go, I tell
yeah,
people all the time, it's just like, on my post, because I always have the problem is, right? And I tell people the problem is you want something or you're asking God for something, but then you're still holding on. And
yes,
it's just like when you're in a classroom, we used to grow up in school, and when you were talking and the teacher was trying to talk, and the teacher would say, I'll wait for you.
right,
I'll wait for you. And this is like,
right,
I'll wait for you.
yes,
For as
right,
long as you want to go through this, I'm going to allow you to go through this, but I'm waiting for you. The second that you surrender completely to me is when I'll release all of the things I need to release. But I'm going to withhold this because the blessing that I have for you is not for everybody else.
yes,
You get
yes.
what
It,
I'm saying?
it,
And
it was
you
like,
have to release people. You have to release people because a lot of
yeah,
times we want people to be a part of our blessing and what God has for us, but it wasn't for them. You know what
no,
I mean? And then when we say,
no,
God, why did it take so long? Why you stay in that
right,
situation for so long? That's
yes.
why. You know what I mean? Yes,
It
and
was like a light switch just turned on because I was like in the dark and I was just
mhm,
feeling so overwhelmed and so hopeless, and I felt like
mhm.
I didn't matter. I felt like, everybody around me was moving forward and I was
Over,
sitting
yep.
still. And it was like when I just said, you know what, enough is enough. Let me get myself out of this situation. And then I was like, "Psh, turn this light on for you, girl. Here's
Baby,
a house. Here's a new
and
car. Here is some peace and some joy, and your
oh my gosh,
children
come
happy, and
on,
money coming in that unexpected, like
listen.
immediately and abundantly. Like,
Abundantly.
I
Come
can't,
on.
girl. Let me
Listen,
tell
I
you.
pray that the people listening to this and hearing this, I pray that they understand that you don't have to be, just because you have years and years and years, you don't have to be stuck in a situation.
No,
You don't have to be afraid. What am I going to
yes,
do? I'm not
yes,
going to have any money. I'm not going to have a place to live. Like, God really is a provider. He is a
yes,
promise keeper and he is a way maker. And a lot
yes,
of times people hold on because it's comfortable. People hold on
right.
because I've known this person for so long,
Oh
or
yeah,
we're the outside going to think we look cute together,
oh
on the outside, like we look good, or we a power couple, we this or we that.
yeah, yes,
On
all
the
that.
inside, it's just like, what are we doing? But the second that you release and you let go,
Yeah,
that is when you really, really are living in your purpose. That's really when you're living in what
yeah.
God has called you to be and what God has called you to do. What do you say to the person that holds on because they don't want to be alone? They don't want to feel alone because I've never been by myself. I don't know what to do or where to go. Like it would feel so uncomfortable and so strange for them. What do you
You
say to
know,
that?
the first, I'll say the first 3 months of my separation, it was very, very tough because I'm always in a relationship. It's like
Mhm, mhm.
it's like the ongoing relationship queen, and so being by myself, like those first 3 months was like how am I gonna do this? First of all, I'm a sex addict, so like, what's going
Right,
on? What am I gonna do?
right, right.
So I was just like trying to figure out, like, really, like, what? How am I going to survive? Now, after the third month, that's when I got into therapy, because I'm like, I need some help. I need somebody to talk to walk through this, because I can't dump all of this out on the, two. I only have two really close people to me, so I didn't want to dump all this crap onto them. So
Right.
that's when I got therapy. I started going to therapy, and my therapist, for the first 3 sessions, I did nothing but cry. I couldn't even get words out. All I did was cry. And she let me cry. She was like, get it out. She's like, get it out, because it's obviously is something that you have to go through. And if this is the only time that you are able to get that cry out, do it. And for the first 3 sessions, I could do nothing but cry. But I would say after month 6, then it was a fire in me. Like,
Come on.
you don't want to go back. I heard God distinctly say, you will never go through this situation again. And I was like, okay, if that's how you feel, then I need to walk into this. And let me tell you, it was hard. So the end of 2019, we separated. 2021, I filed for divorce, and then 22, it was fine.
Your tattoo.
So
That's your tattoo. The 2222. Your tattoo. I
Yes.
love it.
Yes, thank you. And so it was like, it was hard. So I know when you first think about it, it's like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. But trust me, I took it day by day, and I journaled. That's pretty much where this book came from, because I just started.
You are a writer.
Like, yes, like how I changed, how my mindset changed. Like, honestly, I feel like God, he did a lot of shifting when I got out of that situation, because I had a little girl mentality for a long time. And I didn't want to grow up, and I didn't understand what that was at first. And then when I got in therapy, I realized my mother passed away when I was 8 years old. I was 8, almost 9. And parts of me got stuck in that age range, because not long after my mother's death, I began to get molested by family members. And that lasted up until I was almost 18 years old.
Wow.
And so, and then a few years after having my son, I think my son may have been to a family member. I was at a family member's house, and I was sleeping in bed with my son, and a family member tried to rape me while I'm laying in the bed with my son. And it was like, I just kept having these moments, where I just, when those things would happen, I would freeze. I would just and I feel like parts of me were just frozen in those spaces. And I had that little girl mentality. I didn't want to grow up. I didn't know how to grow up. But, during that separation and starting the therapy and being isolated, because we were during the pandemic, it forced me to dig deep and figure out where that hurt was coming from. And I had to let it out. I had to let it go. And it's funny now that I have certain conversations with people, and I feel like they still think that I'm in that same.
Yep.
And then when I respond now, they like,
this ain't, wait a minute, this ain't, wait a minute, hold on, who is this?
I grew up.
I tell people all the time, and I said it in another one of my shows. I said it like, when people say, where did you grow up? It automatically we say, oh, I grew up around this place, I grew up around that place. And I tell people, no, I grew up 4 years ago in my grief.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When my dad, when I grew up. So where did I grow up? I grew up in my grief. You grew up in your pain. You grew up in your isolation. You grew up in your alone time with God. And that is so important for people to understand. Where you grow up is not your neighborhood, or this part of the city or that part of the city. It's where you are in your life. The space that you're in your spiritual walk. That is where we grow up. Where I know for me, that's when I grew up.
It is.
And now you are a healed hoe.
Heel hoe.
Oh, what? A heel hoe? What is that?
I laugh every time I see or hear that
Uh-huh.
title. Someone says it, and they're like, wait a minute, what?
What? How you heel and a hoe? Like, what does that mean? How does that
Yes,
even go together? Yes,
yes,
let's
yes.
talk about that.
So I tell people all the time, like, they like. I think the smile and my bubbly personality fools people into thinking that
Mhm,
I'm like this. Like, I don't know, but people, when I tell them my story, they like, "There's absolutely no way." I'm like, "Yes,
mhm.
I was a hoe."
Right.
I ain't got no shame in it. Let me tell
Talk
you
about it.
something. It's funny because when I go online and I say anything about hoes, I have men and women. They always say it's okay to be a hoe. I'm like, it ain't nothing wrong with that. It is not a daggone thing wrong with that. Let me tell
Right.
you something. Hoeing ain't hurt nobody.
Come
Okay.
on. Yes,
But
indeed.
one thing about what I was doing, I had a good side and I had a bad side. So
Mhm,
I had to cut that bad side off because
mhm,
that bad side included manipulation and
mhm,
prostituting myself, which is like
mhm.
I don't have to do that. But but
Anybody.
let me be clear. When I say prostitute in myself, it's really my time because there was as a
Right.
madam, and I don't know if it's okay for me to say this, but
Yes, listen.
okay. So
This
as a
is
madam, I will always
mhm,
teach the girls sex is the last thing. That's the last thing on the chopping block.
mhm,
Like
mhm,
I taught them how to listen. I taught them how to pour drinks right. I taught them how
mhm,
to give massages. I taught them how to take his shoes off and massage his feet and start talking to him.
mhm.
Get him his mind trained away from the sex and just
Right.
want a good time. That's
Mhm.
what you're offering. That was like, anybody can go in and have a big butt and twerk and
Exactly.
they get
Mhm.
that, but it's an experience. So
Right.
people loved my services because I gave them a feel
Experience.
good vibe. I
Mhm,
learned who they were. I learned what they liked. I show up
mhm,
at their job with cigars, a brand of cigars that they like, and they like, wait, what? You giving me?
mhm.
However, it's like that bad is there's a bad side to it too
Right. Right.
where and it's sad to say this, but as a former madam,
Former. Mhm,
I had three set to me I had three sets of clientele. I had the poor clientele who just
mhm,
wanted to give you $100 for whatever, and then I had the generous men who they liked to show you off and take you to games, and fights and fly you to Vegas
mhm,
and stuff like that.
mhm,
That was the generous men. And then
mhm,
there were the very, very elite rich men.
mhm,
And so, you have that scale, but and it's sad to say this, but the poor men, they were the worst ones to deal with.
mhm.
It was because they didn't see you as a service of pleasure.
Right.
They saw
Mhm.
you as a service of bend over, take this, let me get
Right.
on, and you go.
Mhm.
I try to build a reputation with the girls that I dealt with that we were elite. We didn't
Right.
we were we not no we not dealing with the post
Right.
folks. No, we're not going to the All-Star weekend. No, we can get flued out there, but that's
Right.
what we on. So that dark side
Mhm.
started appearing more in my
Mhm.
business. And I said, I got to stop
Enough
this.
is enough.
And
Mhm.
even coming out of this last situation, I went through a real horrible ordeal with my former employee. I apologize.
Mhm.
That's my chicken is done.
No,
And so my
'cause you still a
former,
mom, you still gotta do what you gotta do. You can't
yeah,
stop.
so my former employee that I worked for over 15 years, I had a freak accident at work. I was out for a few months recovering. When it was
Mhm.
time for me to go back, they made a decision that my job was eliminated. And I was
Wow.
like devastated because that was my job 15, almost 16 years. And
Wow.
so when they cut my job, now they gave me, I got a nice package and everything,
Mhm. Mhm.
but it was like first of all, I had this accident at your job. You all
Mhm.
at fault. So I had to go back and I had to sue them because it was like, come on now, thank you for, I deserve this severance.
Right,
However,
right.
I have to wear special glasses now. I'm still in vision therapy. I'm still in
Wow.
physical therapy.
Mhm.
I had speech therapy, and there's certain things that happen that I'm still dealing with. And
Right.
so they were just like, go, and I'm like, oh no,
Yes, give me my point. Stop playing.
hook me up. It's time to hook me up. And I say all that to say, you never know
Right,
when it's time to shift.
right.
I'm thankful for what happened to me because if I didn't have that freak accident, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to work on my music, and I couldn't finish this book and get all the marketing together. I wouldn't
Mhm.
be able to this is a special announcement, have my own cooking show.
Yes, let's talk about that. First of all, when you talk about your music, I saw that you are working with one of my favorite guys. We went to school together, and he works with my sons as well, Judah.
Oh my, let me
That's
tell
my
you,
guy. Yes,
Judah the Great. Bow
Judah. Yes,
down, be like,
indeed. Yes, indeed.
let me
Shout out
tell
to
you
Judah.
something. That freak accident I was just talking about, it
Mhm.
impaired certain things. I suffered a concussion, and
Wow.
so a lot of things with my singing, I had to like relearn how to
Right.
sing. And so the concussion that I suffered, it messed with my hearing as well. So
Wow.
I can hear certain notes that I want to hear,
Mhm.
um, but coordinated with my brain, like with the lag, it's been tough. So
Mhm.
Judah
Mhm.
has been like he's just been so patient,
That's
so
so
kind,
awesome.
and teaching me how to get my vocals right again. Like,
Mhm.
so we've had like 4 or 5 sessions, and
Uh-huh.
the last couple of sessions, I felt like, oh my God, I feel like I did back in the day when I
Yes,
was
I'm back.
recording. And so shout out to
Right,
Judah. He actually
right.
texted me earlier. He's mixing my songs for the
Yes.
EP. And let me tell you something, I'm coming for that next.
I'm telling you, as you should, as
I'm
you
so
should.
excited. It's all about, the whole thing is about bossing up.
That's
So
it. So you're bossing up. So you came from this journey of, you know, sexual abuse. You came from, you know, marriages where you were physically abused, mentally abused, all of those things. And then you came out of that into where you are now. And so not only are you producing music, I want you, because I need this moment to be this moment.
yeah,
You are you're chefing, your chef hat is on tilt.
yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's get into it. I need people to hear this special announcement again. So tell us what you have going on with the cooking as
Oh
well.
my God. I'm so excited about so shout out, my company is called Greedy Little Eats, and
Greedy little.
it's catering and private chef services. So I just recently signed a deal to stream my very own cooking show. It's
Yes,
called
congratulations.
Meko Universe. They are on Roku. They're everywhere. They're rivaling YouTube. So all of my content will be exclusive on
Mhm.
the Core Universe, as well as my music videos, the
Yes, come on.
book, everything will be there. I'm super, super excited to partner with them. They have been hitting me up with all these amazing things that they want me to do, and they're plugging me in. Like, I'm just like, the calls I'm having, I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, prepare to be sick of me. Okay.
Baby, listen. But you know what? I will say, not prepared to be sick of you. This is the example. This is the evidence in the example of what God can do once you
Yes.
surrender, once you
Yes.
allow yourself to get out of those things. Like, you are the example that you can heal. You are the example that you can move on, that you can be by yourself, that you can make
Yes.
it to where, you know, you are. in a space of happiness, when you are free, when you feel, liberated, and you are operating in your purpose on purpose. A lot of times we don't operate in our purpose because we're afraid of what somebody else is going to say, or it makes somebody else uncomfortable. When we're in a relationship and they're uncomfortable because we're successful and they're not. We have things going on and they don't. And so now they feel some type of way. They're mad. They want to fuss. They want to argue, whatever. So I would say this is your moment. Like Diana Ross, baby, you coming out. This is the new
my God. Let me tell you, I tickle myself. I just be like, God, like you really love me, because that's nothing but his love, his grace, his mercy. Like I was praying for this time last year. I was in my bed, like down and depressed, like my job canceled me. My ex-husband canceled me. I'm like, I was like, why me, Lord? I'm like, but I distinctly just kept hearing him say, this is it.
Right.
You will never be in this place again. This is everything that you asked me. I'm going to do it as long as you put me first, as long as you walk into it. Manifestation.
It's real. It is real.
I write down what I want. And sometimes it's every day. Lord, this is what I want. I want this. I need this. This is going to make me happy. This is going to make me flourish. This is going to make my children have money for generations. So I'm just asking you, walk me in the door. As long as I get in the door,
that's it.
Well, look, I can sell it. If I can sell Gucci, I can sell.
Baby. I talk about it. That's the low. Yes.
Look, a lot of people think Gucci is easy to sell. No, it's not.
Everybody don't want it.
It gotta be. It has to be. So,
right.
and I used to tell people, I'm like, look, I do everything else to, to try to distract the man from getting there. Because once he get it, then he getting on my nerves. I'm like, I gotta get the phone number. I gotta do, you're not ready for this. So.
Yes, indeed. So I always ask, and you talked about it, what is next for you? Are we gonna start doing some more conferences? Are we going to be talking to women that are going through abuse and situations that they think that they can't get out of? Like, what is next for Meko the Boss? And not only Meko the Boss, what is next for Danica?
Okay, so basically, what is next is I do plan to do, speaking events and everything. I want to limit it though. I don't want it to be something where I'm like traveling and just doing that, simply because I really, really want to. I want to get my own restaurant. I'm not looking to be, like so big. I wanted to be able to be intimate. You can come enjoy food and music and just a positive atmosphere and good vibes. So that's the goal. I want to do that. So I can't be tied up with traveling everywhere. Right. I don't mind, but it just can't be too much for me.
Right.
Because I really want to focus on the food and the music. Like, I feel like now is my turn to really hone in on my songwriting, because I love to sing and I love to write, but I love to write more than I love to sing. So I want to get some more songwriting under my credits. I want to write for, I'll be honest with you, I want to write for, what is the young lady's name? Oh my God, Tim's. I want to write a song.
Yes.
I absolutely
atmosphere. That's somebody to know somebody.
Yeah, like plug me in. Like, I love her and I love Summer Walker. I think Summer Walker is so dope. I think she reminds me of myself when I was younger. So like, people be hating on her. I'm like, oh nah, I think she's dope.
She's amazing. Yeah.
I like Summer Walker. So Summer Walker, Ari Lennox, Jasmine Sullivan. Those are
that's my girl, baby. When I tell you, Jasmine Sullivan, that silver lining got me through a whole lot of days.
Okay,
Yes,
I feel like I got hits for them for days. So that's another
yes.
goal. So it's definitely the restaurant, the writing, and then my other passion. I have to tell you this: I was in a movie. I started in a movie. It's a little small, teeny tiny role in a movie.
Wait a minute, whoa, go back. We're not ever gonna minimize that. It was not small. That was big. We're gonna celebrate the small wins. So we're not gonna minimize that. Hey, I was in a movie, and yes, indeed.
I got I finally I love to write, but I love to act too. I feel like I could see myself on the big screen. You know, I have a lot of personality. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I am. But I started a movie, and that was filmed back in, I want to say it was January. It won't be out until Christmas. It's called A Christmas Bonus. I'm excited about that. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. And then I just received word that I was cast in another movie that's being filmed here. Shout out to director and writer Mitch Creedle. And so
Okay.
yeah, I'm super excited about that. And so that's the other thing that I want to do. I definitely want to do some acting, some writing. And I also I wrote a short film, so I'm getting ready to film that as well.
That is so good.
But
And
I got two hats, Ella.
you got it going on. You have it going on, but that's the thing. Again, I tell people all the time, and I remember in Miami, when we were at a fibroid event, and Cynthia Bailey and I, we were sitting at the table, we were talking because she was just talking about how she had just, walked away from Housewives, and she was like, God, I don't know, I just don't know. And I told her, I said, Sin, sometimes the blessing isn't in what God give you, it's in what He takes away.
Yes.
And the blessing in all that you lost, it was a complete blessing. The blessing was that you were able to be seen again, like God was able to see you and you were able to hear Him. So the blessing sometimes is not in what He give you, it's in what He takes away. It was a blessing that all of those things that you lost because you would still be stuck. You would still be in that relationship. You would still be at that job. You would still be, in that dark space had not God taken those things away from you. So I am super excited for you. I am happy for you. I cannot wait to watch. I have been watching you for years and years and years and years. You look good, my girl. Let me tell y'all something. My girl had, I don't know if this, I don't know if this is uncomfortable for you or not, but I like to celebrate my sisters. And so, you went through your whole journey of weight loss and all this stuff. When I say you look good,
Thank you. Thank you.
We have to always celebrate one another because that's what it's about. It's always, it's not about competition. It's about collaboration. Right. When you are, connected with the right people, when you have the right energy around you, so many doors can open, so many opportunities can happen, and so many blessings can take place. And so I'm just thankful again that you did not find a robbery to join me tonight. I pray that everyone watching this, that you heard this story. Y'all need to share this. Y'all need to go back and listen over and over and over again. And y'all need to look at the evidence of what God can do when you just surrender. I'm saying that again, when you just let go and release and don't think more of yourself. And what were the 3 words that you said? Say it again.
You deserve better.
You deserve better. That goes for the ladies. That goes for the men. That goes for everybody. You deserve better. If you feel like you're in a situation where this is not it, like, I'm just not feeling this anymore. I know there's more for me. I know there's better for me. Go with that feeling, because a lot of times people say it's a gut feeling. That is the Holy Spirit just nudging you, saying, I'm trying to tell you, I'm giving you a warning. I'm trying to help you. This is what it is. How do people book Greedy Little Eats? Do you do at-home services, personal chef? Do you go to the house? Like, how can people book you and how can people contact you?
Oh, yes. So for all booking, you can reach out to me at greedylittleleats.com. I forgot to say this. So I just signed up got everything finalized for the commercial kitchen that I'm going to be. Greedy Little Eats will be on DoorDash and Uber Eats.
Yes.
I tell you, like everything, I write it down and I pray over it every day. I'm like, Lord, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is going to make me happy.
This is my journal right here.
Up All I can say is thank you, Lord.
I
Thank
write in
you.
my journal
Thank
every
you.
single day.
I will be
Come on.
faithful. I am
Come on.
faithful. I don't believe
Faithful.
anybody else because I know he can do it. I know he will do it. It's just been such an amazing journey just to look back
Mm-hmm.
and be like, at one point in my life, I kept saying negative things over my life. Like
Mm.
you know, you'll never sing the way
Mm-hmm.
you used to sing. You'll never look as good as you used to look. I would
Mm-hmm.
say that all the time, and I thought that I honestly that divorce it made me feel like I was unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I felt ugly. And then I think the biggest thing was I never got closure. I honestly didn't know what I did. Or I blame
Mm-hmm.
myself. I'm like, I must have done something.
Okay.
I could
Mm-hmm.
never get an answer. And so it was like, well, it just left me confused. It left me
Mm-hmm.
very confused about
Mm-hmm.
myself. And I went through a whole identity crisis. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. It got to the point where I was just desperate to lose weight because I gained so much weight and I'm only 5'2".
Mm-hmm.
I got up
Mm-hmm.
to over 250 pounds
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like desperate. I'm like, I want my husband to look at me like he used to look at me. I need to
Right.
figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then I'm a vain person anyway. I'm a bad
Right.
bitch. I'm
Right.
not fat.
Come on. Come on. Say
Is
that.
whack. I was out with the use of fat is whack. Like I'm
Yes.
like, I gotta figure this
Yes,
out. Like
indeed.
I'm not about to. I don't want nobody to see me. I stopped going around people. I didn't want
Mhm.
anybody to see me when I was that weight. I
And
was
that
like,
was just a time that,
yeah,
God was preparing you for your next.
he
And a lot of
was.
times he has to sit us down and we have to,
Yes,
grow through some things first. And he
yeah.
needed you to grow through all of the moments
Oh
that
my
you needed to
God,
grow through. He
my
needs to give you the room
mind.
that you needed to
Yes,
cry and let it all out so he could prepare
yes,
you for a time such as this. And
yes.
now look at you. Look
I had
at
to
you.
get my mind. He had to heal my mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
He had to heal those parts
Come
that
on. Come
could
on.
not I couldn't see myself
Hmm.
happy. I couldn't see
Hmm.
myself being loved by anybody. I couldn't
Hmm.
even my relationship with my father. I haven't seen my father in 6 years.
Hmm.
And so I would just hear that constantly, like, your dad don't even love you. He don't even want to
Mm.
see you or talk to you.
Mm.
And it made me so angry.
Mhm.
And I would take that anger everywhere.
Everywhere.
I would take it to work. I would take it. I mean, it got to a point where I was turned on that I was pissing them off so bad at how nasty he
Mm.
was to the point where I'm like, look at y'all, mad. And I'm still here.
Mhm.
You can't fire me
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
got so much dirt on y'all. Ain't nothing. Y'all can't do nothing about it.
Mhm.
And just being a raggedy ass person. Like, and that's hard for me to deal with
Mhm. And I
because
love that you own it. I love
yeah,
that you
yeah,
recognize, the things
yeah.
that happen to you, the
They
things that
didn't
you're
deserve
going
that. They didn't deserve to
right.
be treated
Mhm.
like that. And
Mhm.
I didn't get a chance. I think that's what hurt me too with losing that job because I never got a chance to go back and say, I'm sorry.
But trust and believe that they hear you and they see you and they know because they know that that's not
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? When people know a true and genuine spirit that you are, they know that that's not you. They know that that's
Right.
another spirit, that's another
Right.
entity. There is something else that's
Yeah.
feeding
Yeah.
that fuel in you, but that is not who you are.
And I
And
tell
so,
people, if God can change me, if he
baby,
can shift my mind to know who I am now and to
mhm,
know my worth and to grow up and not be a little girl
mhm,
acting out, if he can heal my mind and my heart from being heartbroken molested, beaten,
Mm-hmm.
if he can take me from a place of unworthiness, feeling unworthiness and unloved, and fill me up with love again,
Come on.
and have my children smile at me and say that they're proud of me,
Come on.
if he can heal that in me, he can do it for you. He can do it for you. I'm living proof. I'm living proof that he never left. He never left. He never left. Everybody else walked away,
Come on.
but he stayed right there, held my hand, wiped my tears, kissed my face, and gave me
Mm.
the keys to a house.
Come on. You got the keys, keys, keys. Yes, indeed.
He's
Listen.
even the CEO. Like,
Come on. Come
like
on.
the change, you don't understand. If you knew me 3 years ago, you'd be like, that's not the same girl I know.
Listen, everybody that's watching this, everybody that is listening to this, I want y'all to really, really hear Meko, hear her. Like, if God can do it for her, he can definitely do it for you. And my girl has been through some stuff. She has been open with y'all. She has been transparent. She has shared her story, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of those things. And she's sharing where she is now. This episode was so important for me because there are so many people that are close to me that are going through things that they should not be going through. They're going through things that they don't have to go through, but because, they love, or because it's been so long, and it's not just relationships, it's jobs, it's
Yes,
business relationships,
yes,
you know what I mean? It's friendships, it's
that
all
is.
of those things that people are holding on to. All you have to do is trust that God is there with you. When you feel like you're alone, he's there. When you feel like you have nobody else to turn to, he's there. And when you want to cry, you want to scream, you want to yell, you want to talk, he is there. All you have to do is trust and believe. And then you could get those keys too. Get those keys.
Hey,
The house, the car, the businesses, all
you
that
get a car.
stuff.
You get a
Right, come on. But more importantly, you
Ella
are
Destiny Oprah is
baby.
rising up in here, okay?
Yes. But more importantly, you are getting the keys to your freedom. You are getting the keys
Ooh,
to your peace. You are getting the keys
yes,
to your self-love. You are getting the
yes,
keys to
yes.
who you are, who you
Thank
were
you,
called
God.
to be, to operate in your purpose, on purpose. And everybody has a
Thank
purpose.
you.
There is something that we are all supposed to be doing. There is something that we're all supposed to be sharing. And I tell people all the time, God can't use it if it's a secret.
Okay.
Thank you for not keeping it a secret. Thank you for sharing, because this
Thank
is how God will
you.
use you to help so many other people that otherwise would not take those steps to their freedom because they hadn't heard your story. I
Yes,
say all the time, somebody can't go because you're not going. Somebody
exactly.
can't do because you're not doing.
Yes,
Somebody can't move because you're not moving. And
yes.
because you moved and because you chose to go and do and talk about it, so many people are going to be free on tonight from your story. I'm so thankful, Meko, that for your yes. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. Um,
Thank you so much.
Again, y'all, please, please, if y'all want to, no, I will say this because we go through some stuff. If y'all want to reach out to Meko and y'all want to have a one-on-one, y'all got to schedule that, baby.
Yes.
Y'all get on our calendar and book that because my girl is busy. But really, if you want to reach out to her, if you want to book a one-on-one, if you want to talk to her in private, you don't want to talk to your family, your friends, your loved ones, reach out to her. It's nothing that you are going through that she hasn't experienced. And
Yes.
she can help you get to that other side. So make sure y'all reach out to her. I
Thank
love y'all. I
you.
love you, Meko. Anything you want to say for the closing?
I love you so much. Thank you for opening up your platform to have me come. Like, you're changing lives, Ella. Do exactly what God tells you to do, honey, because I can tell that it's anointed by him.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you,
really
thank you, thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much for having me.
Absolutely. I love y'all. And we're going to be back next Wednesday with a whole new episode of So What Wednesdays. This is my girl, Meko the Boss. I am your host, Ella Destiny, and we will see y'all next time.
All right.